Okay, let's start off with with everything that Steve McMichael's going through right now. Just our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. And also, you guys all saw last night that we have signed Yannick Ngakoue, and super excited about him coming into the building and with his leadership and his experience and his rush ability, and certainly welcome him to our family. And also welcome him to our D-line room. So we're excited about that. We have agreed to terms with Mercedes Lewis, and he's coming in for a physical here shortly. And we're also excited about that, bringing that experience in here to our football team, the leadership that he will bring, and also the experience in the tight end room. So we're really excited about that as well. With practice today, obviously ramping back up. The practice was more of a red practice, what we consider. So it was more time in between reps, so to speak, and less reps. And so we'll be ramped up again tomorrow. It'll be a little bit heavier day. We'll be back in pads tomorrow. So we're excited about that. But back to today, we had a lot of good situations. We had red zone, we had 2-minute, we had low red zone, had fourth downs in the red zone. So we end up covering a lot of things, a lot of end-of-game stuff at the end, trying to get into field goal position, which the guys did a real nice job with that. I thought the offense responded, came back and did a nice job of practice today, executing in those areas, and that was good to see a good bounce-back practice for those guys. With that, I'll open up to questions.
How do you do the color coding thing for practice?
Yeah, so it's just an awareness really for the colors really help us to understand that, hey, it's less reps. The NFL in their ramp up period, which we start out with those 4 or 5 practices, we look at the reps, number one, we look at the intensity and distances, so that first day coming back, the science tells us to ramp up there. Okay, go less distance, less intensity to get the guys back coming off off day, and then we ramp up from there. It gets a little bit heavier. Then the last day is really a lot of reps. I know last time we got a bunch of reps. It was over 100 reps on the last one, but so it's been working for us. It's been pretty good, and we feel good where we are.
What are the colors? What are the other colors?
Chartreuse, green, and aqua. No, it doesn't matter. No, they're actually red, yellow, green. So.
Man, we didn't get a chance to talk to you after Wednesday's practice. Everyone seemed pretty open and honest about how the defense won the day and the offensive energy wasn't the best. What did you like that came out of that spirited practice, and then what bothered you? Because clearly some of the players were bothered too.
Yeah, that's good, right? It's good. It's iron sharpens iron. The old saying. I think that's great when a unit has the upper hand on the other for a part of the day. Sometimes it's all the day. Sometimes it's just part. Maybe it's a couple periods, and the other team bounces back, and that's going to happen during the course of the year. So it's how do you respond on both sides? I talked to the guys after the practice. How do you respond to adversity, but also how do you respond to success? Do you lay off or do you just pour it on? So it's important on both sides. But the response that the offense had was good, because they came back in the 2-minute and executed well during that end of the half situation we were in yesterday or the last practice. So I thought it was good.
There's a noticeable uptick.
And Ngakoue has played for a lot. It's rare for a pass rusher as productive as him to play for a lot of different teams. And I know a couple times he's been moved because the scheme has changed and they've had to go away. You're big on scheme fit. How well does he fit? Does he fit your scheme, and how important is it that he does when you're bringing him in when you are?
Yeah, I think he fits really well. He was with Marinelli out in Vegas, which was cool, and Travis. So he was in that same type of scheme there. He was with Gus last year. Again, same type of scheme, 4 down front. Getting vertical on the edges. So it's really the same type. It's not going to be a stretch for him. He fits really well. So we're excited about that. And, we had some, intel on him. We obviously what kind of teammate he is, what kind of person he is, what kind of worker he is. And he checked all the boxes there for us. And he's going to be a good addition.
When you watch him play, what in his skill set strikes you the most?
Yeah, just the rush stands out, first of all. To be able to capture the edge with his speed. but then also have the strength and the length to be able to level back, so that's, a lot of guys have that speed rush, but you gotta still be able to bore at the top to be able to finish the rush. And that's an important piece, and he has that.
Coach, a lot has been made about his deficiencies in the run game. Can his pass rush ability be enough for your defense, even if he's not a first, second down contributor?
No, we see him as a first and second down. We see him as an every down end, so he's gonna have to play, in those situations, and he's done it. He's been good at it, and we gotta make sure that he sharpens that part of it as well. And he will do that, and we're excited where he is in terms of being an every down defensive end for us.
What, they'd asked about practice the other day where the defense did really well. How did you see Justin handle that, and, how did you see him bounce? I mean, it seems weird to say bounce back in a kind of a slower practice today, but did he have any reaction to the defense doing as well as they did? I know we huddled the guys up after practice.
Yeah, just, in terms of what that unit did well, speaking defensively on that day, they took the ball away. They played with great energy. There's a lot of passion out there, which you need to play with. And the execution was there. Everybody was on the same page, all 11 at the same time, playing with that hammer mentality. So that's what you need to have to play good on either side. And the response that Justin had and the offense had, like I said, was really good because of 2 minutes. They came back and gathered themselves and executed in that moment at the end of the half. So, again, he brought them up afterward, talked to them, visited with guys during the off day there, and they came back and had a nice practice today.
So many people who come out here are watching to see how the quarterback does. When the defense wins the day there, it's not a disaster that maybe the fan base or some others might.
No, like I said, you're going to have days where one side, sometimes it's going to be pretty equal, which it is most days, but there's going to be some days out there where one side, dominates the other a little bit or wins most of the periods and wins most of the plays, and that's going to happen. It's going to happen in the course of a game. I mean, so it's important how we respond to both success and adversity.
How has Ngakoue been able to stay so productive? For 5 teams now since 2020, it's still really no drop off in the pass rush production. What is it about him that's allowed him to be so scheme adaptable, but also with all the changes that every year something new with him?
Yeah, I would say the way he practices, and again, this is coming from Marinelli, so I don't know firsthand and Travis, but the way he practices, I guess he's full tilt when he practices, and he keeps himself in great shape. He's very mindful of his body and how he stays in great shape to be able to go hard like that, because to be a really good effective pass rusher, you got to bring it. And you got to bring it every single down. You can't take a play off, so you got to be in great shape, and you got to have that mentality.
The other guys in the room have been aware that the team has been trying to add a pass rusher. What's your message to the Gibsons, the Robinsons, about what their role is going to be, even with Ngakoue?
Yeah, it's same. Just you compete. You compete. The NFL is about competition, and our camp, is no different than any others. And you bring a guy like that in here, and it's about competition and competing for the spots.
You spent so much time last year trying to get stability on the offensive line and had to reshuffle pieces a lot. When you're in basically week 2 of camp and you've got 3 of your interior starters not going, how do you kind of calibrate your level of concern, understanding how important the continuity is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, that's like I always said that we need everybody out there. And when they're not out there, it does hurt, continuity. It does hurt the reps a little bit with what you're going to see during the season. And but that is what it is. Guys are going to have stuff during camp. And that's really an opportunity for us to get guys in there and get experience that we look at, the old pair and a spare, who can be that spare guy and have that position flex at center, at guard, and potentially move out to tackle. So we look at it as opportunity, but again, it's also you're missing continuity a little bit there. So we got to get them back as soon as possible. And when they come back, they'll be back.
When you have a practice like today, where you don't have pads on, limited reps, a lot of half speed stuff. I understand the wrapping up part. That makes a whole lot of sense. But what is it that you're trying to get out of a practice like that?
Yeah, just execution. Even if when we split the fields, you get a lot of reps that way. When ones are with the twos over here and the ones are with the twos over there, there's a lot of reps in there. And we're looking at different scheme there. Maybe looking at a different front. Maybe we're specializing in a particular type of offense at that time that our offense doesn't give or our defense doesn't give during this time. So that's always helpful that way. So we have different rules for different things that we face during the year offensively and defensively. So really looking at execution.
Matt, on paper, the strength of your defense is the back seven.
Yep.
I know Ryan has said you can live with what you got on the line, but how important was was it to you to get a guy like Ngakoue to allow those guys in back of him to develop, especially in the secondary, those young guys?
Yeah, I think that's right, Mark. Certainly helps the guys in the back end, because the time on the shot clock, shorter, right? It closes a little bit. But I also think that it helps them up front. Up front, that's going to be able to help other one-on-ones appear to us, inside or outside. You can't chip everybody. You can't max protect every down. You're going to leave some guys with one-on-one, and that's what the opportunity is, as well as the back end, also in the front.
When Ngakoue finally gets on the practice field, what are you most interested in seeing firsthand, since you really haven't had an opportunity to see
Yeah, I think we do like every other player. He's gonna have to have a ramp up period, right? And we're gonna have to work him in there, slowly into individual, working that part and then working into our team stuff. And then we'll work him in there. The guy's got a lot of experience and we're gonna do that. And I'll sit down and talk with our performance staff and Dre and figure out exactly what that is. Best for that individual, and we'll go from there. But once he gets going, what I want to see is, we have standards here of how we operate, right? How we hustle, how we finish, how we play. That's our style, right? And the style is not just for the games; it's for the practice too. So we want to see him buy into that, and then really take that on and have ownership of that.
Now, one of the more interesting things with this defense is the secondary is really young. Couple of rookies, couple of second-year guys, obviously also Jackson in there. But what are you looking for out of that group, and what do you have as your expectations for the way they can kind of come together and maybe really help gel as the season goes on?
Yeah, just execution first, and then having the ability to play off each other, right, with their disguises and how we operate, and making that grow, and then taking a step every single day. And then lastly is the playmaking ability. We want our secondary to be ball hawking secondary, and we want to make sure that we're doing that right, because that's a big piece of our success, is having that ability to take that ball away, and really just to keep leverage. In the secondary, you minimize big plays by what we call keeping the cup. You have a force piece, pursuit piece, and an apex piece of that. And we want to make sure that we minimize big plays, because then you minimize scoring. One more.
Yeah, Matt, I just wanted to ask, when Yannick gets up to speed in his practicing, how do you envision him helping Braxton and Darnell both develop as tackles?
I think it's just going against a different skill set. We started to mix that up again today. We had guys, a little bit going with the same guy every single time in one-on-one pass rush. So during our meeting, and we evaluated each player yesterday in our meeting with the scouts and that, we talked about what matchups we want to see. So we kind of switched that up, mix that up today, and that was better. And we're going to continue to do that. But adding that piece to it's the same thing. You're going to be able to see a different skill set and a different guy rushing them.